Okay, let's get right into it. Sovereign AI. It's one of those terms that's thrown around in boardrooms, and honestly, it's probably one of the most misunderstood concepts out there today. But here's the thing. Getting this right isn't just some IT checkbox. It's absolutely crucial for any organization that's serious about scaling AI with real confidence. And this quote from a CIO, wow, it just hits the nail on the head. This isn't about a bunch of technical jargon. It's about a fundamental business challenge. Can you stand in front of your board and, on a single page, prove you're in control of the AI you're using, what it's doing, what data it's touching, and what it's going to cost you? That's the real game. So here's how we're going to break this down. First, we're going to bust the biggest misconception about what sovereignty even is. Then, we'll dive into the procurement trap. That's where control quietly slips away. After that, we'll build a practical framework to get that control back. Look at the foundational work you've got to do to be truly AI ready. And finally, wrap it all up by showing you how to scale with total confidence. All right, first up, the sovereignty misconception. And the subtitle really says it all. This has very little to do with the physical location of your servers. You see, this slide is so important because it shows the huge gap between what people think sovereignty is and what it actually is. The common view? It's just a hosting decision. Should we put it on-prem, in a local cloud, a global cloud? But the strategic view, that's a whole different conversation. It's about having provable, evidence-backed control over your data, your risk, and, critically, your long-term costs. And look, while this is a global issue for many businesses operating across Africa, the stakes are just so much higher. You're trying to navigate a patchwork of different regulations. You've got spotty cloud availability, volatile connectivity, not to mention major cost pressures. In that environment, getting sovereignty right isn't just a nice to have, it's absolutely essential for survival. Okay, so let's move on. Section 2, the procurement trap. Now, this is important because this is where sovereignty is so often and so quietly lost. And the story, it's almost always the same. AI doesn't just show up one day as this one big system. No, it creeps in through the side door. A small tool here for the marketing team, a convenient assistant there for the finance department. We call it pilot sprawl. And on the surface, it just looks like teams being innovative, right? But here's the trap. Every single one of those small decisions is made to optimize for one thing, short-term speed. But when you add them all up, you get this tangled mess of different tools and platforms. You end up with a collective, almost irreversible lock-in. And it didn't happen because of one big bad decision, but because of 1,000 small, perfectly logical ones. And that forces us to ask this really critical question. At what point does that obsession with speed turn into a massive strategic liability? Well, it's the exact moment you realize you can't govern, you can't change, you can't even fully understand the AI that's now woven into the fabric of your business. So if that's the problem, how do we fix it? Well, that brings us to our third section, a framework for control. This is all about taking this big, scary idea of sovereignty and making it manageable, and more importantly, visible. And the framework really just boils down to these 3 pillars. First, control. Super simple. Who can do what with which AI models on which data? Second, residency. Where's this stuff actually running and can you prove it? And third, economics. How are you managing the costs and your exposure to different vendors? See? These pillars take sovereignty from being this vague, abstract idea and turn it into a dashboard of clear decisions you can actually manage. And this is brilliant because it shows that governance does not have to equal bureaucracy. We're talking about really practical things here. Keep a simple list of your AI models. Make sure every single use case has a named business owner. And hey, use the security tools you already pay for. This is all about weaving control into the way you already work, not creating some brand new committee to slow everything down. All right, but any framework is only as good as the foundation it's built on. And that brings us to Section 4, modernizing for AI readiness. This is about upgrading those core foundations that, let's be honest, most companies skip in their rush to innovate. So, what does it mean to be AI ready? It's not about having the flashiest new platform. It's about having the fundamental capability to deliver AI results that come with these 4 things baked right in: trust, control, portability, so you're not locked in, and predictable economics. So foundation number 1 is data classification and lineage. And let's be really clear, this is not just about slapping some labels on a few files. This is about creating a verifiable chain of custody for your data. It's about having enforceable rules and a clear audit trail that proves where your data came from, where it's going, and who's touched it along the way. Foundation 2 is this shift to thinking about data products. Imagine this. Instead of your data scientists hunting for data in some messy digital warehouse, they go to a clean, well-organized store where data sets are packaged up like products on a shelf. They have clear owners, quality guarantees, everything. This one change can dramatically speed up AI development because it builds trust right into the process. Number 3 is resilient integration. I mean, how your systems all talk to each other is so critical. If every project is a one-off, custom-built, brittle connection, you've got no hope of governing it. You need standard, repeatable patterns, think of them like Lego bricks, so you can maintain control and swap pieces out later without the whole thing falling apart. And finally, identity-first access. Now, we're all pretty good at managing access for humans, right? But what about the AI services themselves? These machine identities are so often an afterthought, and that creates this massive gap in your governance. You have to lock them down. It's totally non-negotiable if you want to scale AI safely. Okay, let's pull all this together in our final section, scaling with confidence. This is where we flip the script and show you how to turn sovereign AI from a brake into your most powerful accelerator. And look, this doesn't have to be some painful multi-year project. This slide shows you what real, tangible progress can look like in just 90 days. In the first 30 days, you just get visibility, find out what you even have. In the next 30, you enforce some minimum controls, and by day 90, you're getting a real handle on the economics. It's an actual, actionable plan. And this is the key takeaway, the most important point of all. When you do this well, sovereignty doesn't slow you down, it actually speeds you up. Why? Because it stops you from having to renegotiate the fundamental questions of risk and data and cost with every single new AI project you want to launch. It's the steering system for your car, not the brake. It lets you go faster, but safely. So I'll leave you with this one final question to think about. As AI continues to spread through every corner of your company, you have to ask yourself, is your AI adoption making your organization stronger and more in control? Or is it quietly, decision by decision, eroding that control from the inside out?